Now, amidst all this war, life itself and what life looks like when you are part of this or are part of that. Tel Aviv court granting political asylum to a 29-year-old Palestinian from the West Bank who has been prosecuted and violently assaulted by his own family and community in the West Bank for being gay. And now, despite the security constraints and despite the fact that Israel is not obligated by law to grant such a refuge to Palestinians, it did. And we want to cross now live to journalist and activist Blake Flayton. Blake, thank you for joining us. Well, we cannot say much about this specific case due to the obvious sensitivities, but what can we say?
We can say that a win is a win. I think that all forward-thinking, progressive people who want Israel to be a democratic state, who want Israel to be a safe haven for LGBT people, who want Israel to be a part of the, family of nations that we can be proud of, would say that this is a win, that Palestinians, especially this individual Palestinian who has gone through such hell, the family rejection, the attacks by his mother and father, his father specifically physically attacking him. We can only imagine the trauma that must go along with that. And so we can celebrate this, I would say, in the short term with our eyes set to the future as well.
And Blake, obviously it is not happening in a vacuum at a time when it seems that there's a fundamental confusion, let's say, on what it means to be on the right side of liberalism. Simply put, LGBTQ groups rallying for Hamas nowadays.
Yes, they are. In fact, my entry into this world of Jewish commentary and speaking about Israel and Zionism, there was an LGBT pride march in Washington, D.C. when I was a college student that specifically banned the Magen David if it was imprinted on a pride flag, saying it was a quote unquote nationalist symbol. Now, of course, they didn't go out of their way to ban any other nationalist symbols, just this specific flag because it looked like the flag of the state of Israel. And I also was in various LGBT groups throughout my time in the United States. And I can attest that it is a troubling trend, but there are glimmers of hope. And I see those glimmers of hope when I meet LGBT people in Israel, in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and all over the country, some who live here, some who've come out of state, who really see that the Jewish state as a democracy, as a liberal democracy with pluralism and tolerance at the height of its agenda is worth fighting for.
But you know what, Blake, before we let you go, the issue of LGBTQ groups is particularly upsetting, I would say, for Israel, because it seems that Israel, Tel Aviv most notably, invested a lot of efforts in making direct contacts and communication with the LGBTQ around the world, and now it is just taking the exact opposite stance.
Well, I would say that Israel has to take, if it wants to continue down that path and reaching out to LGBT people and progressive, forward-thinking people overseas, then it has to double down and really put its money where its mouth is. And that means, addressing our own shortcomings and our own failures, such as not allowing gay people to get married in the country, having people in our government, such as Avi Maoz of the Noam Party, whose entire party platform is centered around persecuting gay people and removing them from public life. And of course, we have ministers who incite against gay people living freely in a city like Tel Aviv all the time. And, it's not even out of the question with this case. Moshe Arbel, the Interior Minister, is actually filing a lawsuit against the Tel Aviv court who approved this. And so we're not out of this fight yet, and we need to keep pushing in order to sustain those connections.